Happy Christmas Eve to those who are Christians, also known as Christmas Vigil. It is a great time to celebrate the power of connectedness and also Christian values. Well, we hope that you had a wonderful day. And yes, I'm Isabel Masozera with the latest here in Rwanda and beyond. We start with the headlines. Now, some of the residents of the city of Kigali say that even though the prices have spiked, it is not a reason for them not to celebrate Christmas. A very warm welcome to RwandaTV News. I am Isabel Masozera. It's good to have your company. Now, top of our edition, analysts have been stressing that if the government of the DRC and the international actors in the ongoing conflict in the eastern part of the country do not tackle the root cause of this problem, there will be no change. Now, RBA spoke to a researcher and the author on the Great Lakes region, Andrew Worris, to ask him his view on the situation in the eastern DRC. If any progress is being made, the root cause of the conflict, how Rwanda has been turned into the scapegoat in this whole affair, and also what he thinks in terms of the Congolese government having an effective play in playing a part when it comes to restoring the peace in the DRC, that is the eastern part of the DRC. Take a look at what he had to say.
The whole issue goes back generations, decades. So, when I see these small movements, 1 minute M23 is said to be marching on Goma, the next minute they are retreating. You've got other players coming in, international actors coming in and then leaving, peace talks happening, not happening, the UN reporting. It is very difficult to know exactly what has happened because the situation is so fluid. Different actors want different or have different concerns out of this whole conflict. And so when just one or two actors agree, M23 may agree now, but it just takes the action of another militia group or the Congolese government or whoever. And before you know it, everything unravels again and you are back to square one. So these small scale moves on the ground actually, to me, are irrelevant unless you tackle the root causes which have been going on for generations here. So yes, in the small term, there may be some peace, hopefully over Christmas, some stabilization in the very short term. But clearly, there is a lot more to this conflict that needs to be looked at by all sorts of different actors. I mean, if you look at the whole issue, really, to me, the root issue is about citizenship. It is about respect for minority groups. It is about ownership of land. And it is about who belongs where. Do this minority, mostly Tutsi group, ethnicity, who have lived there for generations and generations, who are Congolese. Do they belong there, or at least does the Congolese government believe they belong there? Because without giving them rights as citizens and rights to land and rights to security and rights to education and health like other Congolese, you're going to have problems. And over, again, decades, the Congolese government has played politics with minority groups in the Kivu region, and then still it stops playing politics and it starts doing what a government should, which is supporting the rights of all people to housing, to citizenship, to education, to health, regardless of their background, regardless of their dialect. Until that happens and you get good governance and security in the region, there are going to be elements who say, this is unfair, this is unjust, why are we being targeted? One of my frustrations, I have to say, is looking at this from afar, is that so many international commentators have jumped on the usual bandwagon here. And we heard all this 10 years ago. And it's just replaying again. In fact, and it's the same bandwagon, which is the sort of the anti-Rwandan bandwagon. And I listened recently to a podcast on Al Jazeera, usually a very good news site on the issue. And not once in the 20 minutes podcast did I hear the word Congolese government. The Congolese government was not mentioned, and yet it is in their country where this issue is happening. It is a Congolese issue, first and foremost. Well, it's very, very disappointing, and it's actors in the West especially who have an axe to grind about against Rwanda. And it's not really about M23. I think this is more about internal politics. There's a lot of people who have their own issues with Rwanda for other reasons, political reasons, and so this is just a bandwagon. I mean, I was looking through just recently some notes. I found about 2008, the conflict then when M23 first sort of started out, and the Laurent Nkunda affair. And back then there was a Washington think tank who said this. This is 2008, so 14 years ago. Without immediate and robust diplomatic pressure on the Congolese government and more impartial efforts by the UN peacekeepers to stop the fighting, the region could descend back to total war. Now that's 2008. That could have been written yesterday, to be honest. So in 14 years, nothing has been resolved. In fact, it's gone backwards. And the international actors here, it's always about a sticking plaster. MONUSCO, this $1 billion force, is a sticking plaster on what is a broken leg. The Kivus are broken. They have been broken for decades. That's enough. The international community needs to stop looking at such short-term solution, and it hasn't even managed that. To look at putting pressure on Kinshasa to resolve this on the ground by giving the people of the Kivu security. I'm afraid to say almost, I'll be certain that the DRC government will not play ball here, because I think until these elections in December next year, politically, there are votes to be had by continuing to attack in the Kivus and not to bring peace. Peace doesn't win votes, unfortunately, in the rest of the country. But until the international community starts to put pressure to resolve this at root causes, as I've said, rather than these short-term sticking plaster moves, nothing's going to change.
Now moving on to festive news. Religious scholars state that people should not celebrate Christmas only and forget the main reason behind the special day. We go to Prince Manzi for lighter news.
Mary's boy child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day.
25th December is celebrated as a Christmas day in different parts of the world. But how did it start? Father Jean-Pierre Rushigajiti of Surundi Parish and Pastor Vincent Rwibasira of Bethesda Holy Church elaborate.
This
name, Christmas, came from Romans, naming it after the birth of Jesus Christ. But the date specifically has long history.
N'ubundi abantu basanzwe bahahimbariza.
Usually, people used to celebrate light on that day. If I say light, just think of countries that in winter possess snows. In those times, that their climate was so cold, in such dates, there was presence of some sunlight that we call winter solstice. Some that we say worshipped idols used to also worship the sun, because in these dates, the sun would come and they were like missed it and needed it, and some would praise it. But after the Christians got the freedom and independence, they started preaching that the Son you are praising is not God, but instead there is a Creator. The 25th December was established for us to celebrate the true light, Jesus Christ.
ni itariki yafashwe kugira ngo duhimbaze urwo rumuri nyarumuri Kristo.
Even though Christmas is celebrated on the 25th December, there's no proof that that is when Jesus Christ was born. Religious scholars point out that the essential is not the date, but what is celebrated on that date.
nta kibyemeza kuri 25 ukuboza yavutseho sinacyo cy'ingenzi sinaho kwemera kwa.
There's no proof that the 25th December is his birth date. That's not what is important. It is not even the basic in our belief. Our belief is not based on dates, but the birth of Jesus Christ is important in our belief. And setting a date for celebrating it, it is also fine. Someone once asked me, that same day they worshipped an idol, aren't you also sinning? I replied, no, because idols did not create days or seasons. For them to have been worshipping idols on such date, they did wrong. All days are for God. We should worship God on any of them.
Iminsi yose ni Imana tuyimbazaho Imana.
Hari abantu batabyemera batemera bakavuga ati oya gusenga.
Some people do not believe it. But on my side, all the things that we do today are based on history. So whether we celebrate it on that day or not, it has nothing to do with our Christianity.
Ntacyo bitwaye umutima w'umuntu, ntacyo bitwaye ubukristo bwacu.
Outside of beliefs, Christmas is taken as a special day of gathering and celebrating as families.
It is a special day of being with your family and friends and people you miss. It is this day that you find most people have saved some money to buy clothes and meats for celebration.
Celebrating this day involves having fun, but people are asked to not forget the main reason behind this special day of Christmas.
Ntekereza ko ari umunsi ukwiye kwizihizwa rwose.
I believe that this day is to be celebrated because it is a day of receiving our salvation. It has a great signification on our lives as Christians.
Ni umunsi ufite icyo uvuze gikomeye mu buzima bwa Gikristo.
Hari aho bigira bikababaza ko abantu bageze bakafata nk'umunsi usanzwe wo kwidagadura.
Sometimes it is sad that people made it a day of celebrating and misbehave. When we preach, we tell people that celebrating is fine, but most importantly, pray. Be careful. If you have something to share with your family and friends, please do, but under the values of a good Christian. Christmas Day is celebrated in Rwanda ever since the establishment of the first mission in Save, Western Province in 1900. Prince Manzi, RwandaTV News.
Sticking with the festivities, some of the residents of the city of Kigali say that even though the prices have spiked, it has not stopped them from enjoying Christmas, a day dedicated to remembering the birth of Jesus Christ. Olive Wontete brings us the details.
Those who believe in the birth of Jesus Christ testify that Christmas is the most important day in their faith. I'm ready for Christmas. I feel free in my soul. I'm in good terms with my siblings. Everything is well with my family. We simply thank God for everything. We are ready to go to church and receive the newborn in our hearts. On Saturday in Kigali, there was a flow of people buying food and clothing as they prepare for the holidays. They are happy that this year's Christmas, they can spend time with their family and friends as opposed to 2 years ago when the COVID-19 outbreak prevented them from doing so.
We came to buy new clothes so that we can go to church looking smart.
COVID-19 disrupted our activities last year. We all stayed in our homes. We didn't celebrate, but now we are very happy because we will be able to visit our families. Despite the increased participation in shopping, buyers say that prices of commodities have risen. However, they say that it does not stop them from enjoying Christmas. I usually buy a pant for my son at 5,000. but today I bought it at 7,000. The t-shirt costs 4,000 and the shoes 8,000. It is really expensive. Richard Niwenshuti, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Trade and Industry, notes that traders shouldn't use festive season as a reason to raise prices.
It is the right of traders to compete for a market, but they do not have any reason whatsoever to raise the price.
During the festive season, some people who live in Kigali travel to the countryside to celebrate with their families. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Thank you, Olive. Now, on the shores of Lake Kivu, people from across the country are enjoying the festive season. People with tourism businesses along the lake's shores are optimistic about it. And this is because this is the first holiday season in 2 years without explicit COVID-19 pandemic restrictions in place. Olive Ntete continues.
Various people, including children, adults and young people, are on the beach enjoying the festive seasons at the shores of Lake Kivu, doing various activities such as boating and swimming. People to numerous touristic destinations close to Lake Kivu are happy to once again celebrate holidays free from the effects of COVID-19 pandemic. During COVID-19 pandemic, it was so disturbing. We were restricted to enter in various places, but now we are fully enjoying.
We are very freely enjoying. We thank God who helped us overcome the pandemic, and now we have freedom.
We will go to the beach after leaving the hotel. Children enjoyed in the swimming pool. We also plan to visit various places that have facilities that will help them to feel relaxed and enjoy the festive seasons. Hotel and restaurants owners are also happy and anticipate making more money than they did during the COVID-19 pandemic.
For example, at our Hotel Hillview, all places are full. People started booking in the past 2 weeks. This means that in the 49 rooms that we have, they are all accommodated. Now life seems good because during COVID-19, the situation was tough. The
district of Rubavu is known for its lakeside tourism, which draws a lot of tourists fond of beach life, swimming and boating. This location is well known for its many performances, and there are already events planned throughout the holiday season that promise to draw more tourists and drive up costs. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Moving on, residents of the sectors near Nyungwe Forest Park in Nyamagabe and Nyaruguru districts are determined to protect the park's integrity and ensure no one can harm it. Now, as part of the program encouraging people to protect the national park, a contest was organized for residents to showcase their talents, and the winners were rewarded. We now go to Adam Squizera to learn more.
The residents who live near Nyungwe National Park say that they have understood the benefits of preserving the park. This forest helps us to relax and refresh our minds due to the biodiversity around us, that it attracts tourists who contributes much to the country's GDP. So you understand it's very useful to us. In order to encourage the residents to understand more on how they should be preserving Nyungwe National Park, there were a contest organized, which included various talents in contesting in singing, poetry, where the winners of this contest noted that they are going to sensitize to others to be part of this park's preservation. I'm going to put much efforts in protecting this park from those who want to do poaching activities in this park, as that I will pledge my contribution to fight them. Dr. Imanishimye Ange, the executive director of Biodiversity Conservation Organization, noted that such campaigns helps to create awareness about the environmental protection as well. We need to reach at that level where a Rwandan will be able to make a wildlife advocacy. That's why we chose these people to help us in creating awareness, as that this park provides much benefits to those people. In this program of competitions, which aim to raise awareness among the residents of Nyungwe to preserve this park, more than 3 million has been rewarded to the winners in the contest of singing, poetry, and cycling. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
Thank you, Adams. Hategekimana Richard, a Rwandan author, has launched 2 books, one about labor and the other about the uniqueness of Rwanda. We stay with Adams Kwizera.
Those who have read this book points out that focusing on the actions and remarks of the President of the Republic, Paul Kagame, in these books means a lot to those who already know the Rwanda's history and those who will need to learn it in future. This technology we engage to, you can't be able to rely on it without reading. If you're not writing, you won't be able to leave something in future. As you know, there is an author who said that you should leave the world better than you found it.
What I appreciated much in these 2 books, it is that it can be read by Africans and Rwandans as well. The reason why Rwandans don't read as a culture, it's because of language diversity challenges.
Hategekimana Richard points out that writing these 2 books are one of the ways he chose to build the country and as well as pledging his support to the development programs. Either it be in private sector or in government institutions, there you find some workers who deliver poor services to people. But this book is like a mirror, where the labor be the one to choose what to do. On the other book related to the Rwanda's uniqueness, which shows how Rwanda reached at the low level because of their people, how it resurrected the same because of their people's contribution as well. This author also noted that he has started supplying his books to the foreigners and members of diaspora through publishing them online, plus translating them in the other languages. Adams Kwizera, RTV News.
Paul Kagame, where I love him so much.
With that report, we wrap up our bulletin. Thank you so much for choosing RTV News. I am Isabel Masozera. Now, on behalf of the entire team here at RTV, thanks for watching.